13 Action News, live at 5.
Right now at 5, running low, the water level at Lake Mead keeps dropping. What the feds might have to do if they step in. Plus, second dose of hope when folks can get their next shot at the convention center.
And a winter whiteout, the monster storm impacting millions. What we're seeing here in the valley and when we're tracking our next storm system coming up.
All right, but first at 5 right now, Lake Mead is shrinking, and it is also happening right now at a rate where federal authorities may actually declare a water shortage next year. Well, thanks for joining us here on TV, Roku, or wherever you're streaming us right now. I'm Todd Quinones.
And I'm Trisha Keene. 13 Action News reporter Jeremy Chen shows you why this is happening at a body of water that we rely on so much.
We did get some much needed rain last week, but it didn't help much for Lake Mead, as this is a problem that's been decades in the making.
Lake Mead is losing water, and it's something that will likely continue, potentially triggering a federally declared water shortage.
There is the potential that Lake Mead's water level could decrease another 25 feet within the next 2 years.
This is based on projections from the Bureau of Reclamation. It pegs the lake's current water level at about 1,085 feet, and it could end the year lower than 1,070 feet. A federal water shortage would be declared if the lake dips below 1,075 feet. The Southern Nevada Water Authority says this is due to a decades-long drought affecting the Colorado River upstream.
We haven't had the snowpack within the Rockies in order to ultimately create that runoff into the river.
90% of Southern Nevada's water comes from Lake Mead. The Water Authority says if a declaration is made, there's no need to panic. A shortage would mean Southern Nevada's water allocation of 300,000 acre-feet would be shrunk by about 13,000. There will still be more than enough water, with the region using about 250,000 acre-feet of water last year.
The shortages that are prescribed on the Colorado River are really not going to affect Southern Nevada because we have already done so much to reduce our water use.
However, the Water Authority says it's an important reminder for people to conserve water, like fixing pipes and sprinklers.
As long as we continue to conserve, Southern Nevada is going to be okay. But we need to follow the watering restrictions.
Lake Powell is also seeing the same issue, with projections showing it will lose about 20 feet of water over the next year. Coming up at 6, we'll tell you more about how Lake Mead's water levels will affect you at home. Jeremy Chen, 13 Action News.
An update tonight on the deadly stabbing that happened right near the Galleria at Sunset Mall. Well, police now say that it was a security guard who stabbed a man trying to shoplift. Well, this all unfolded last night. Now, officers say that the guard noticed a man trying to steal something. He then confronted him, and that's when police say both men pulled out knives. The 56-year-old security guard then stabbed the 34-year-old, who later died. Officials are now investigating whether the security guard might be charged.
New at 5 tonight, our first look inside the convention center, which is turning into a vaccine clinic. It's for people to get their second dose. Officials there say the clinic will start with the capacity to give 1,400 second dose vaccinations per day, increasing to 3,000 per day. The clinic will have separate areas for Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. The center will be open Tuesday through Saturday in the C1 area of the facility's central hall. You must make an appointment. The health district says it's working to reach out to people who are eligible. Well, it appears Nevadans are slowing the spread of the COVID-19 virus. According to state health officials, right now 17.4% of tests are coming back positive. Numbers show there has been an average of 1,000 new cases a day in the last week. On January 1st, the 7-day average was more than 1,800 new cases a day. Nearly 280,000 Nevadans have been diagnosed with the coronavirus since the beginning of this pandemic. In Clark County, 93% of people have recovered.
Right now, a winter storm emergency. This nor'easter right here is just simply pummeling states up and down the eastern seaboard. Look at this here. Millions of people right now are under weather alerts. Now, some states bracing for more than 2 feet of snow, as well as coastal flooding. The storm also making an impact right here in Las Vegas, as tonight there are a couple of flights canceled in and out of McCarran.
That's right. And 13 First Alert meteorologist Danny Beckstrom is in the Weather Center tracking all of this for us tonight. And it's nice to have you back in the studio here, Danny.
So happy to be home, Trisha and Dot. It's nice to be back so I can show you images like this and be able to actually point where I want to point. It's hard to do that when working from home. Now, this system that we're watching here, this nor'easter, actually brought the biggest snow totals of any storm in the past 5 years for New York City. Over 15 inches for Central Park and a really widespread area being impacted from this nor'easter. Now, this is actually the same system that brought us our rain early Friday morning. It's made its way across the entire country. I backed the radar up 48 hours so you could see it. And now we're seeing rain stretching from Georgia, snow up through New England. So this really is impacting millions. Howling wind and heavy snow blanketing New England, a winter whiteout bringing cities to a standstill.
Let me be as forceful on that point as I possibly can. If you don't need to be out, go back to your house immediately. If you're in your house, don't leave your house.
New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo echoing the call to stay home.
This is a dangerous, life-threatening situation.
Already flooded roads on New York's coast. South of Pittsburgh, slick roads resulting in a crash, leaving one person trapped. And in Virginia, this car flipping on a highway. Officials say their biggest concern, plowing the roads, making sure rescue vehicles and those carrying life-saving medicine and coronavirus vaccines can get through.
Right now, the concentration is to let the road crews treat the roads, plow the roads, get them cleared, and make them safe for later.
The nor'easter canceling over 1,600 flights today. Even up north in Massachusetts, a warning that since this storm will last a while, conditions will keep getting worse for a while.
So this is one people should take seriously, prepare for, and pay attention to.
In the cold and ice, also beauty. This waterfall in upstate New York, half frozen, covered in ice. And of course, dangerous conditions expected tonight as everything freezes over. You can see the widespread area picking up snow, some spots up to 2 feet. But we're also looking at the danger from really gusty wind and this coastal flooding from all of that rain pushing in from the Atlantic. So as temperatures drop overnight into tomorrow morning and everything freezes over, the messy conditions will continue. A much different story for us. Tomorrow is actually going to be incredibly pleasant. Our highs jumping another 5 degrees and the sunshine returning. But Wednesday into Thursday, that's when we're tracking our next storm system. This one not bringing rain or snow, but it is going to bring a wind that will be hard to ignore. I'll have the details for you coming up.
All right, but still, Danny, a much better picture here locally at home. Thank you for that. All right, well, Nevada's 2021 legislative session now underway, and lawmakers, they're going to have to do their job right in the middle of this pandemic, changing a lot of their common practices. And 13 Action News reporter Sean Delancey now explains how the leadership really plans to try to stay safe.
Lawmakers got a test run of the legislative session starting today during the 2020 special session, so they know what they're doing. The coronavirus is much worse now, however, so legislators are not taking any chances.
The coronavirus doesn't discriminate, spreading wherever possible. That's why Nevada's legislative leadership are preparing to hold a historic session during the pandemic with a slate of new safety measures in place.
I am confident that everyone can stay safe.
Assembly Speaker Jason Frierson says that the changes affect every corner of the building. Masks are required, committees won't meet in person, plexiglass shields have been installed between members, and no one except lawmakers and staff are allowed inside the Capitol. Staff Majority Leader Nicole Canizero says the changes have been taxing.
We had to implement a system that would allow us to continue to conduct our business while also being accessible to the public. And there are always bumps and bruises along the way with that.
She says the 2020 special session was a useful dry run for the full 120-day session and hopes that as vaccines come available to more people, including lawmakers themselves, they will be able to open the building back up to the public, but not before it's safe.
We took measures in special session, and of course our numbers are worse now. So it wouldn't make sense to go backwards with respect to those measures.
Republican minority leaders Senator James Settlemyre and Assemblywoman Robin Titus are less intimidated by the virus. Settlemyre, who got COVID and has since recovered, believes that the Capitol should be open right off the bat at current capacity limits.
The Constitution dictates that building has to be open for session, and we weren't in the special sessions. That building should be open to the same rules and requirements that society is.
Titus didn't push for the building to reopen today, but did say that she looked forward to the day that legislators could be among their constituents again.
As we get this vaccine, as hopefully the numbers drop, we can start opening up to both the public and to lobbyists.
Now, legislators were included in the list of frontline workers who have access to the coronavirus vaccine. It is not clear right now, however, how many have completed the full course to be fully protected. Sean Delancey, 13 Action News.
And a reminder for Golden Knights fans, tonight's game against the San Jose Sharks has been postponed. Wednesday's game is also pushed back. According to the NHL, 4 members of the Golden Knights, including 3 coaches, are currently in isolation. The one player who is unavailable is defenseman Alex Pietrangelo. Now, Golden Knights general manager Kelly McCrimmon says that Friday's game against the LA Kings should go on as scheduled.
Also, Garth Brooks' concert at Allegiant Stadium has been postponed now for a second time. The country music star now plans to be in town on July 10th. Well, the show had been originally scheduled for August of 2020, but because of the pandemic, that was then pushed back to this month. The company behind the show says that all tickets purchased will be honored for the new date. Well, right now, privacy concerns or Facebook is tracking you even when you're offline. So some steps that you could take to make it stop.
Plus, honoring Black excellence. A local woman spends years making sure history is never forgotten. And in-air errors. What's to blame for some pilots apparently becoming rusty? Stay with us.
The tributes are pouring in tonight for Dustin Diamond. The actor, best known for his lovable character Screech on Saved by the Bell, passed away today at the age of 44. Well, 3 weeks ago, Diamond announced that he had stage 4 cancer. His former co-stars are now remembering him. Mark Paul Gosselaar calling him a true comic genius, while Mario Lopez said that he'll be missed, saying life is something never to be taken for granted.
Well, February is Black History Month, and for the next several weeks, 13 Action News will not only reflect on the contributions of Black people they have made here in Southern Nevada, but we will also highlight local people in our community making a difference, plus across America. Well, Cox Communications is celebrating Black History Month by honoring 4 Southern Nevadans who each have a long history of making a difference right here in our community. Clady White is a historian at UNLV, and she gathers memories of events and experiences from local African Americans. And White came to Las Vegas back in 1992 with nothing. Eventually, she became one of 5 founders of the Las Vegas Black Historical Society. And she says she was taught the history of Las Vegas by Las Vegas.
I can speak about the Black community in a way that I can tell their story, because they've taught me how to.
White has served on the City of Las Vegas Historic Preservation since 2006. She currently serves as Vice President and Board Member for Women of Diversity.
Also, the former home of Emmett Till is now a landmark. In 1955, Till was brutally beaten, then thrown into the river by 2 white men while he visited relatives in Mississippi. Well, the 14-year-old's murder became certainly a civil rights rallying cry and is still notable today. Well, when he was 10 years old, Emmett, his mom, and also her husband lived in a home on Chicago's South Side. Well, that home now has an official designation from the city of Chicago.
These measures will ensure that the upkeep of the homes of these influential and important Chicagoans and help to forever immortalize their legacies on our city and our entire country.
Till's mother continued to live in that home until 1962 as she worked to try to end racism and violence against people of color. Well, tonight at 6:30, we're going to break down Emmett's full story and how his death helped to spark a much, much bigger movement. Well, the High Roller is also turning red, yellow, and green tonight, all in honor of Black History Month. The Eiffel Tower at Paris, Las Vegas is also changing colors to take part as well. The color change will last through February 7th.
Well, new at 5 tonight, these days Facebook isn't just tracking your activity on the platform, it's also tracking your off-Facebook activity as well. And reporter Jordan Hogan explains why they're doing this and how this plays into the data privacy debate.
Tech companies are becoming more transparent about how they're collecting your data and what it's being used for. This comes as Facebook admits it's been tracking what you do outside of their app and website. Off-Facebook activity includes information that businesses and organizations send back to Facebook about your interactions with them. Facebook says it uses this data to show you more relevant ads. Some see this as an invasion of privacy, but Facebook does give you the option to turn it off.
They're not doing anything illegal. There are different policies that govern data privacy, and there are different types of terms of service that companies may have that individuals may want to research more to find out if those privacy options reflect their preferences.
Jennifer Huddleston, the Director of Tech and Innovation Policy at the American Action Forum, says it's important to read through the privacy section and make changes that align with what you're comfortable with.
I also think that consumers may, when they download a new app or sign up for a new service, want to actually think through those options rather than just clicking yes to quickly get to the service.
Some apps and social media sites also offer privacy checkups. Facebook has a dashboard that lets you go through all of your privacy settings and adjust them at any time. When you download a new app on your Apple device, push notifications will ask you if you'd like to give access to things like your camera, microphone, or location, rather than just giving that app or service access automatically.
You may be someone who's a little leery about giving a product your GPS location. However, if that product is a mapping service, it's going to be beneficial in your ability to use that product so that it can actually give you real-time updates on traffic or directions or whatever it needs to do.
Huddleston recommends revisiting your privacy preferences over time to make sure you're getting the experience that you want. Jordan Hogan, 13 Action News.
All right, seeing all that snow in the Northeast, it reminds me of all my friends and family back east who always say, isn't Vegas too hot?
No.
It's just right, right?
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as we head into the rest of the week, your friends and family in the Northeast are going to be especially jealous of us. Tomorrow, temperatures will top out near 66 degrees with sunshine. A very pleasant day on tap for tomorrow. But tonight, not too bad. The sky is on fire right now. An absolutely spectacular sunset. If you haven't taken a chance, peek outside, just enjoy it, but wait until after this forecast to do so, I guess, because I know clouds get kind of a bad rap, but we're seeing the payoff of that overcast sky out there with the oranges and reds that are appearing as the sun dips behind the spring mountains. Feels pretty pleasant as well. Very seasonal day. Temperature right now at 58 degrees in Las Vegas, mid-60s for Laughlin, mid-50s for Indian Springs. Overall, right around where we should be on the first day of February. But we did see the gray sky all day long, and as we zoom out, even a little bit of moisture. It's upper level moisture streaming in with some light rain falling from Lake Havasu up through Kingman and Peach Springs, even Needles picking up a little bit of light rain, but we're going to start to see the clearing, and the general trend overnight into tomorrow morning is clearing. So it might take us until sunrise tomorrow, but we will be back to this clear skies and sunshine for your Tuesday. Temperatures this evening generally in the 50s with a light wind, so no major weather worries for your Monday night. Our overnight lows dipping into the mid-40s ahead of sunrise tomorrow with that cloud cover clearing, but wind speeds staying light. That means mostly sunny skies right from the start tomorrow. A beautiful Tuesday ahead of us. Our wind speeds will stay calm and our temperatures rebound a bit. Today's highs landing in the low 60s. Tomorrow will jump to the mid 60s, 5 or 6 degrees above the seasonal average with the calm conditions. So should be a great one to get outside and enjoy the mild weather that we get to enjoy this time of year. And you'll especially want to get outside tomorrow because by Wednesday into Thursday, we are tracking quite a gusty wind that is going to be a very a nuisance wind. I would consider it 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts on Wednesday, and that helps to deliver a significant drop in temperature between Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll fall from 5 or 6 degrees above average to 4 or 5 degrees below the seasonal average. Quite a change. And on Wednesday, a 10% rain chance as well as that system sweeps through. By Friday, the wind speeds are calming down, and by this weekend, we're back to the mid 60s. So it's not a too bad of a hiccup as that wind picks up Wednesday and Thursday. But if you're looking at the pick of the week, I would say tomorrow is probably the best day, 66 and mostly sunny.
Yeah, it looks comfortable and nice. Thank you so much, Danny. Well, coming up, out of practice pilots, disturbing data into how the pandemic may be putting those of you flying at risk. And then when you join us at 6 tonight, a long-standing local business is saying, we are open, Clark County. How John Moll's Roadkill Grill has adjusted this past year. Stay with us.
And continue tonight as more pilots now return to work during the pandemic. Many realize, well, they became a bit rusty. Well, NASA runs an anonymous safety reporting system, and that system reported more than a dozen safety mishaps attributed to pilots in the last 7 months. So one example is a pilot forgetting to start the de-icing procedure before being reminded the need to do it. Well, safety experts blame the pandemic. It forced airlines to cut back the number of daily flights. The FAA does not allow pilots to operate a commercial plane unless they've completed 3 takeoffs and 3 landings in the last 90 days. The agency changed those rules last year to give pilots more flexibility.
Well, you need a little boost to get through Monday mornings this month. Well, starting today, Dunkin' Donuts Rewards members can get a free medium coffee with any purchase. Now, to get the free cup of Joe any Monday in February, DD Perks members can order ahead via the Dunkin' app, or they can show their loyalty ID QR code at the window or the register. Well, coming up tonight when you join us at 6, keeping the streets clean and spreading kindness. How this month's Vegas Stronger champion is lifting spirits.
And coming up later in tonight's ABC Primetime lineup at 8 o'clock, it is The Bachelor. That is followed up by The Good Doctor at 10 o'clock. Then stay with us for 13 Action News live at 11. And that is our news for now, and ABC's World News Tonight is next.
And we're always on at KTNV.com, our mobile app, and your favorite streaming device. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes for 13 Action News live at 6.